Right, so I've played a game recently called Witchcraft U. I do not recommend this based on getting one ending, because it is extremely unsatisfying ending which left basically all the questions unanswered except one. If I do play again, maybe I will update this. However, as it is, compelling, weird story with a lot of interesting ideas which end up going absolutely nowhere. What is it about? In a world where magic is commonplace, one man becomes a student in a witchcraft university. Larkspur. The student life, however, is rife with danger, with mystery and last but not least, romance. Join an adopted ward of a mob boss on an adventure of a lifetime. By the way, hate romance in these, thankfully it's not crucial in this one. What did I like? I always enjoy different magic types and how they are explained and how they work, and I like magic. Merging it with a modern world makes for an angle which isn't explored enough in my opinion. There's obviously Harry Potter and whatnot, but it's a bit not the right direction. Here's pretty much what I do enjoy, especially love the illegal activity side of things. And speaking of, there are plenty of mysteries, secret societies and magical secrets. I'm still curious about a whole bunch of things here. I'm just not sure if there will be any answers if I pick different choices. Regardless, there were some interesting things going on. Also, there were some interesting directions with the characters involved. I specifically played through with attention on the three, but Toya didn't go anywhere for some reason. Ravi and Poppy, however, started as quirky characters and ended up well, it's spoilers, but the end result was interesting. I did wish there was more exploration into what they did and what happened to them, but instead of it happening just in the background and then you eventually getting confronted by the player. But what can you do? What did I dislike? Well, first it's what I've said. The ending happened suddenly, abruptly, and it just went, you failed to get a scholarship, you failed to get an internship, you were looking for a place, you're plagued by nightmares, the end. That was like nine pages. On the answer I got was what happened with Poppy, and I couldn't even get all the answers. It's kinda disrespectful to players' time in that regard. Oh, you wanna ask something else? Well, better play it all again. Or duplicate the saves. I don't envy a person who plays these games and doesn't know how to do this stuff. Either way, the ending is bad, real bad, and nearly every mystery was left up in the air. Aside from that, there were some other things. But that's spoiler territory, so I will be brief. There are some choices which don't feel necessary and are railroading the player into them. Biggest one is the job. You get a job in a tea shop. It's got some spooky stuff going on, but that's besides the point. There's no options for that. No other job. No way to just not get a job and rely on a stepdad. No real choice. Just hours and how you treat the tea shop and its owner. There were a few choices like that. Also the approach to the education system. So, I get what some countries have education for money, i.e. it's not free. I also get what some countries might have dorms which close for some random arbitrary reason at a random point of the year. What I don't get is how the fuck are books not provided for the courses? Okay, I get what US is insane in that regard, but holy hell, I do not see this insanity as normal. As if being a student isn't shitty enough, you are forced to pay for everything. It's nuts. And then you are supposed to do it twice. Man, sometimes I'm glad I'm not in a better country than this crap hole. Sometimes. Definitely not right now. And I almost forgot, there's basically no university in this. You get like 6 choices when it comes to studying. Total. I'm guessing the number, but the point is what my GPA dropped after I picked some choice which didn't align with my stats accidentally. Doesn't matter what it made more sense, but the point is that once it dropped, the GPA never ever went back up. There was like half of a game left, and it never went up again. But not a single choice which affected the GPA after that at all. You might as well just have been kicked out by that point. Definitely another weak point. So all in all, it's an okay game. It just feels like mankind divided. It just sort of ends without an ending. Half a game. So now there's a bit more spoiler territory and deeper talk, I guess. Whatever. Well, I already put my thoughts up there, so if you're okay with spoilers, here it comes. So first of all, one thing which I wanted to complain about is Luca. She appears out of nowhere, says ominous things and then asks the player for $1,500, because that's totally a sum you can easily land with insanity I listed prior. And then offers to steal a statue from the university, where you are still enrolled. So it's a great idea, which I declined. And then steals the key to the memory thing. I'm sorry, but what was the point of this character? She seemed like an interesting one, but there was literally no reason to have her. Just a bitch who gets in the way for no reason. Next is Mundane Liberation Front. One thing which instantly came to my mind about it is what it sounds just like My Hero Academia villains. Ignoring that, they also appear out of nowhere, do pretty much nothing and then vanish. Granted, I picked doing the final project over their thing because of the GPA stuff. I hoped that it could get higher if I did the project instead of helping the Liberation Front. It didn't, FYI. Okay, so it pretty much was, you do a project, it seems to go well because of your correct choice, your project is complete. You rest easy. That's it. GPA didn't go up. Nothing seemed to change. That's it. And mundane libs are never heard from again. Cool. So my other problem is with basically all the other characters. They popped up here and there, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at the contact pages right now, and I cannot say who Nico Choi is, or who Zachary is. Why is Ness at 59% when I haven't picked a single friendly choice regarding him, and I almost forgot Toy even existed. Honestly, I forgot Ravi existed until he suddenly called, and then that happened. Just as there's a cast, and it feels like walking down the street, and there's a bunch of tiny stores, and unless you walk into them, you'll never know anything about what is inside. Okay, kind of a weird metaphor, but what I'm saying is that the game didn't make me care about them at all. Hell, the only reason I cared about Toy is because she shouted at Ness once. The only reason I cared about Ravi is because I was upset with Poppy at one point and wanted to pick someone to bring home with me. Any interactions with our people in this list I only remembered because I wrote it down. None of the characters stand out in any real way or do anything if you don't pick them. It's basically made for multiple playthroughs. Problem is, does it make anyone care enough to do that? Take Court of Knives, for example. And by the way, spoilers for Court of Knives. There are branching paths, but the characters do things even if you don't interact with them. For example, Bouchard. He will always be an asshole Nosferatu. He will always give the maps to the Tremere. He will always come alone on a raid against Tremere. Those events happen with him, but you could pick some choices which might alter how he will act in those. You experience them regardless. And if you didn't get close, you'll get to know some more things, like what he's got a nice machine gun in his lair, or what there is an assassin after him who you could use the said gun on. Here, I don't know, I can't remember much. Poppy didn't care about safety, she took a forbidden book, she summoned some angel thing to possess her, did and tried to completely take over, which I prevented, that's the story. She does some things like prank Toya, but there's just not enough interaction there. She isn't doing anything. She isn't a character. She's just set dressing, like every single character. It's like, I can't imagine those characters doing anything on their own. It's like, they have this story, but how would they act in the normal settings? Do you have any time to chill out with them? Just interact with them, talk about their past, maybe look into their hobbies, anything like that. No. You don't get anything. And another thing, the Secret Society. A hyped up plot point happens, then finally, and then it's just, okay, you're in. We will contact you when needed. They did. Twice. I refused to betray the here, and then I just didn't have the time to hang out with Liberation guys. So that storyline went absolutely nowhere. After so much hype, it's disappointing as hell. Oh yeah, and another thing, I went to the basement during the stay at Mac's hotel. Back home, with adopted dad. I chased the cat, which is also unanswered. What is that cat? I chased that cat and saw a dismembered whatever that is. Enzo then gets angry and tells me to leave. These characters don't even get a mention those creatures don't even get a mention after that. Not once. It's insane how many mysteries exist and are left unanswered. How did he do it? When did he start? What exactly is the process and the result? Why is Enzo so concerned with the cat's diet? There. That's 4 more questions right there, which were completely ignored. Too many questions ignored. I just don't feel like playing it again because I will get teased with no answers again. Ooh.